Big block, big block. Everybody wants a big block motor, you know. Rat Dog, he's commented on my videos for years and years here now. And he asked, have I ever considered buying a bigger motor? Because you know I've talked about how my motors blow up and stuff and how I don't hot rod motors anymore because it isn't worth it. If you haven't seen that video, I'll try to post a link somewhere. As of right now, though, what I did was buy a second camera so that I could, instead of, I could have one camera looking at me on the boat like this, then I got a second camera that's on a little monopod they call that can look out to where I'm casting and look out at the jugs and see how the catfish are biting the jugs and stuff, so you could bring that. That's beside the point. The difference is I can't just bolt on a bigger motor to my current kit. I'd have to buy the bigger kit and then bolt the motor on the bigger kit. So you're talking $800 or $1,000 depending on what motor I buy and which, depending on the size of the shaft and the build of the shaft, whether I get a standard shaft or one of the extreme kits with the bayou bushings and all that kind of stuff in it. So you think, okay, $800,000. What can that kit do that I can't do with my current kit? The basic difference is I'll have twice the power. My current boat is 6.5 horse. The new engine, 420 Predator, would be 13 horsepower, so twice the power, but more than twice the work. That engine I currently have only does about 8 pound-foot of torque. The Harbor Freight 420, twice the power, gives me 19.6 pound-feet of torque, something like that. It does more than twice the work at the same RPM. That's the real magic of that motor. And it still is fuel efficient. Of course, it burns more gas, but it has a bigger gas tank. The cost is it comes at the weight, right? This boat can handle the weight, but that transom, I worry that transom's not really strong enough to handle that kind of torque that thing's able to do. I think JT Gatoring has solved that by putting a reinforcement plate on there at this point. That he's solved that problem, and I might very well do something similar with some plywood, just thicker plywood back there, a fiberglass epoxy reinforced, and probably could get the same effect. In fact, I might do that. The main thing is the cost, and what I could do there is, of course, sell off the old rig, sell off my motor plus the old boat. Remember, I had the old 12-foot boat plus that motor. Sell that off, maybe recover half the cost there. And then when I get the new kit in, the whole build process, the whole transom modification process, all that, put it into a guide series to put it on the teachable page, and it'll be like paid high-end content that I wouldn't necessarily put here on the YouTube channel. At the very least, I could recover the cost, right, and break even. Because that's how you have to think when you're in business for yourself. It's not just, you can't just go spend money. There has to be a business case for it. Anything, even this camera, right? I bought a second camera knowing that I could recoup the cost of that over the course of the next year, just on the sale of the products that I sell. So there has to be a business case for it. And I think perhaps there is. I'm seeing more and more people continue to ask me about mud motors, because a lot of you came to my channel because of mud motors, and I stopped building the mud motors, and so that just fell out of the repertoire, as it were. But you're still interested, right? And most people who buy these mud motors, they buy the small kit because it's the cheapest one and they can get out on the water and get off the bank, and then they realize, oh my gosh, this thing's slow or man, I need more power, and so they get the medium kit, and then sometimes they may get even a longer boat and buy the really big V-twin Harbor Freight motor. But have I thought about getting a bigger motor? Oh yeah, and I'm like this close to pulling the plug to just get the other kit and start building that up. Because one thing about jug fishing is the engine is running almost all the time. From the time I get there, you run down to my spot or up to my spot. I might run 5-8 miles to my spot, especially on the lower portion of the river. And then I deploy my jugs, and by the time I get the jugs, it's time to go back and either reposition the jugs or getting fish off the hooks and this time of the year. I really could use an engine that could do at least twice the work of the current engine. And with the Harbor Freight 420, it can easily do that job. So stay tuned.